Good news. It's easy to start podcasting. Real news. It takes practice and study to become a true professional. Anyone can do it, but few will make the commitment to master the craft. Buck the trend. Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. Surgeons aren't only trained in how to hold a scalpel properly. Musicians aren't trained only on how to pluck notes on a guitar. And writers don't just study the alphabet or take how to type classes. You know this, I know this, because these are professionals. And we know that these professionals, like doctors and musicians and writers and podcasters, all study their craft. Because, like any other profession, these people are professionals. And they treat it as such. They can't pick up just a handful of knowledge here and there and say, I've got this. And I think we podcasters should be adopting the same philosophies about that. See, it's not enough to simply know proper microphone technique, how to talk into your Yeti, I suppose, or that minus 16 is the right number of LUFS. It's true, but you need to know all of that, yes, without a doubt, and lots more things, but those lots more things are legion. A lot of people, either in podcasting for the first time or who've been doing it for a while, kind of forget about or prefer to not think about all the other aspects. But reality is, while it's easy to get started with some pieces of knowledge you gleaned from various places, it will only get you so far. And to become a pro, you've got to go further in your studies. You've got to really study the craft of podcasting. Now, I see this happen a lot of times when professionals from other media jump into podcasting. And that's fabulous because if, in fact, that is you and you've been on the radio or TV or you've made films or produced other sorts of things, you are already ahead of the game because you bring skills with you to the table. But you've got a lot more to learn. Let's just take radio for a moment. If you are used to producing audio content already, great. You probably will out-edit, out-engineer a lot of the other people that are in podcasting. But there's more to podcasting than just audio production, for example. You got to write. And we're talking episode notes. We're talking articles. We're talking social copy. Graphics have to be designed for the show itself, for the individual episodes, for the website, for the social media platforms. Then there's building out that website. There's marketing the show. Then there's liaising with other podcasters out there, business planning, all of that. Podcasting is still, there's a lot that goes along with it. If you're doing it solo, you have to master all of these techniques. You can't just be good at one or two of them. I suppose you could and hire some firms out, but to really learn this and to really know it completely, you have to go study. If you're part of a team, that's fantastic. They can help you do that, but all of it has to be done. And one of the best things you can do for yourself is have an understanding of all of it. You don't have to be the best at all of it, but you need to deeply understand it, and you need to be able to jump in a pinch, and do something if you can. It all has to be done well, the full encompassing piece of podcasting. It all has to be done well if you truly want to call yourself a professional podcaster. So where do you learn all of this stuff? What can you do and I get it, you're asking that question. And look, there are a lot of professionals out there who've built curriculum that encompasses the full, wide breadth of podcasting. It's not how to get started podcasting. That, by definition, is not comprehensive. But there are professional podcasters who've built curriculum around the entire art and science of podcasting. There are coaches, there are podcasting coaches who've been doing this for years, who really truly have mastered the art. They give one-on-one, sometimes even apprentice level training for people. And yes, you can do it through reading lots and lots of material. You have to be very discerning because not all material printed or posted on the internet is even close to accurate, but you can learn this on your own. You just have to be very discerning, and you don't really have a path or a guide to follow. But there are lots of ways to do it. I'm not making a recommendation of which one you should do. I am saying, however, if you want to call yourself a true professional podcaster, you have to know more. You can only hack your way through so far. At some point, you're going to need a guide, whether that's a person or a list or something else to help you get to where you want to go. You know, there's that old saying that oftentimes is just boiled down to the last part, but I'm going to say the whole saying for you, and that is, if I've seen farther than others, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants. So learn from those who came before, learn from the tools and techniques and mentality that's out there already, and make something better in the end. Oh, and by the way, no. This does not mean I'm about to start a comprehensive podcast training program. Though I do get that question quite a lot, so I don't know, maybe I should rethink that at some point in time in the future, but not today. Not today. It's enough for me to give you these pearls of wisdom, and you can go do something with them on the other end. At any rate, if you got any value out of today's episode, you can give me some value in return by going to buymeacoffee.com/evoterra. That's it. I shall be back tomorrow with yet another podcast, Pontifications. Cheers.